Donald Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin this past Friday in Alaska, which, for the record, after the meeting, Donald Trump struggled multiple times to even tell people where Alaska was, again seemingly not knowing that it's in the United States. But even without that, the entire spectacle was an absolute embarrassment to the United States of America. And I'm talking about every single part of it, from the planning to the execution to the aftermath. Every bit of it gave Vladimir Putin exactly what he wanted while humiliating the United States on the international stage. And of course, it all started with Donald Trump having members of the United States military on their hands and knees, literally rolling out a red carpet for Vladimir Putin. And Donald Trump was seen, as I'm sure everybody has seen by now, in those clips standing there like a little kid waiting for Grandpa to show up because Grandpa always comes with goodies and he's so excited and he can't contain himself. He looked like a child. And Putin, of course, emerged as the strong, dominant figure to that child. That was humiliating enough. But then it turns out that earlier in the day, before we even got to the initial round of humiliations, a very quiet humiliation happened that didn't become public until much later, and that was when the State Department printed out the agenda, the itinerary, which of course was confidential. Nobody was supposed to know because it had the locations of where these men would be, which, if anybody had it, would make them sitting ducks. They left it on the printer in the business center of the hotel. Public hotel, the Captain Cook Hotel. They printed out this top secret agenda and left it on the printer. 3 hotel guests were the ones who found it and were like, so somebody's left something here. Doesn't seem like we need to have this. That is how incompetent and embarrassing this entire administration is. And as per usual, it gets worse. Because the White House decided to, release a couple clips of the meeting to make it look like Trump and Putin were on the same level. But the Kremlin, Russian state-owned media RT, took it a step further because they had even more footage that they wanted to release to further humiliate Donald Trump. And they did. And they shared it to the entire world. The footage shared by RT shows Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin behind the scenes before they're about to go make their, public address together. And Trump is seen fawning all over Putin, praising him, shaking his hand, then putting his other hand on top of it, giving him a very long and warm 2-handed handshake. And Russia, of course, put this out in order to make Trump look weak, which he is. The entire meeting was a fiasco. There is no deal for a ceasefire. There's no developments. There's no promises. There's nothing from this other than Donald Trump elevating Putin to a point where now he looks even stronger. A year ago, there were the rumors circulating that Putin was in bad health, that he could be dying, maybe he had all kinds of cancers, and now he looks like a strong man that's going to serve for another 20 to 30 years. And Trump looks like the guy that has no idea what's going on. We are now the weak and ineffective people. And that's what the Kremlin wanted, and that is exactly what they got. By now, Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed. But almost no one's reporting how ICE is going to get nearly $40 billion of our tax dollars a year, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in U.S. history. That's more money than most nations actually spend on their entire military. So much of our media is either missing the worst of this bill or twisting the language so that you think it's all in your best interest. But we have seen the ICE raids ramping up, and now Trump's openly threatening to deport U.S. citizens. This should be the biggest story in America, yet it's buried, which is what makes ground news essential right now. They're the only tool that I've found that is exposing these blind spots in the media. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, then analyzing just how far right and radical each unbiased source actually is, you get way more context than you ever would anywhere else. If we're being honest, we have seen Trump's power grabs throughout history. They said never again, and that means never again everywhere, and right now, it's happening here. So if you want to stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply finding the stories missing from your news feeds, Ground News has you covered. Their app and website is a smarter, more reliable way to stay informed at a time when MAGA is banking on us to stay distracted. So I've partnered with them to get you 40% off the very same Vantage plan that I've been using. That comes out to about $5 per month for unlimited access to everything that I've mentioned and more. Just go to ground.news/ROF or scan the QR code to subscribe. With at least another 4 years of this, we can't afford to miss these details.